I should mention about sodium hydroxide. I already mentioned that sodium hydroxide is very important, protecting your sodium cyanide. Also, they protecting generally your electroplating bath. Another thing, the concentration of sodium hydroxide is directly related to the color of your electroplating result. Low concentration of sodium hydroxide, usually 1 gram to 2 grams, light red gold color. So some folks using for this one, making some rose gold at this area. And around the 3 gram, I think normal giving the 18K gold color. And 5 gram per liter around the 16K gold color. If you more add 7 gram per liter, you can have 14K, and 9 gram per liter is 12K. But how to figure it out is titration, like sodium cyanide. So I give you this titration method. Another thing is the pH method.
Sodium hydroxide is very important material for the CH gold electroplating system. First, sodium hydroxide protect free cyanide and electroplating solution against the oxidation by the carbon dioxide in the air. Second is the concentration of sodium hydroxide is directly related to the gold color of CH gold electroplating, showing in the picture. You have a 300 liter of CH gold solution, you want a 16K gold color. You need a 1.5 kilogram of sodium hydroxide. But you already add sodium hydroxide around 300 gram during the makeup process. So you need to add 1.2 kilogram of sodium hydroxide after your makeup and aging process. And then you add 1.2 kilogram of sodium hydroxide at once to your electroplating solution. That's not a good idea. Now what you do? Instead of you add 1.2 kilogram at once, I ask you add several portion of small quantity of sodium hydroxide, like showing in the picture. For management of sodium hydroxide, I recommend you using a management sheet. So you check the concentration of sodium hydroxide by the titration. This titration, you need a little bit of technique, but I recommend you should do first 1 month or 2 months. But your data accumulate, you can using the much simpler method like a pH method. It's quite convenient and very useful method. I giving the pH value CH gold 100 gram per liter and CH gold 150 gram per liter at temperature is 40 degrees. I showing that this data your reference. You must accumulate this kind of data by the titration and check by the pH value by the pH method for months or 2 months. Then you can have this kind of data, and then you can use pH method instead of titration. I giving the titration method of sodium hydroxide.
This is a special issue. If you have a big factory, then you can set up like light rose gold color and 18K gold color, 16K gold color, 14K gold color, 12K gold color. That's very neat. But that's not the most case. Most case, maybe you have 2 or 3 baths for the CH gold, and sometimes have a various of color order from your customer. you have a 14K gold color, change to the 18K gold color. What you should do? I think there's two methods. You using the acid, but don't using the hydrochloric acid. It's very dangerous. So you must using the very gentle acid, lemonic acid or citric acid you use. That's a good idea. And another thing is I like this chemical, sodium bicarbonate. I just give you some calculation for example, so you just check that.
If you have plenty of space and you have a bath a lot, and then you have order all kind of CH gold color from your customers, then you're setting the 5 different color, like 1 gram per liter, 3 gram per liter, 5 gram per liter, 7 gram per liter, 9 gram per liter, from white, red, gold color, and 18K, 16K, 14K, 12K, shown like that. In fact, my friend in China, they setting this kind of setup, but this is very special case. Most case, generally, the factory has 1 or 2 baths available. If you have 2 baths for 18K gold color and 16K gold color, and then you have both for the 14K gold color, but you 18K gold color very busy, but 16K gold color can be changed. Then it is very easy. You just add sodium hydroxide. If you need a light rose gold color, which is sodium hydroxide concentration is 1 gram per liter, then what to do? Generally, you add citric acid, or called another name is lemonic acid, or sodium bicarbonate. Decrease the sodium hydroxide concentration, so that way you can change the color. But this is quite easy method. The calculation how much citric acid or sodium bicarbonate you should add to your bath. Let's say I have a 300 liter. The current bath solution is 5.5 gram per liter of sodium hydroxide for 16K gold color. And then you want a new bath condition is the sodium hydroxide concentration is 1.0 gram per liter for light red gold color. Then citric acid or so-called lemonic acid, I giving the calculation method as below. For the sodium bicarbonate, I similar calculation as below, as shown as in my presentation. The CH Gold electroplating system is very easy to use and easy to control, and then you can change the color using sodium hydroxide, and reverse you're using sodium bicarbonate or citric acid. So this is very neat method. It is very easy. If you have experience 1 or 2 months, you are familiar with that, then it's okay. I definitely guarantee you, if you experience with 1 or 2 years of CH Gold system, you can be an expert on the you're making various kind of the gold color by using the CH Gold. Okay. The electroplating condition of CH Gold.
First is a temperature. The operating temperature for CH Gold can be 30 to 55 degrees C. Most people doing the 40 degree Celsius. If you operating higher temperature, you have a more reddish color. Around 1 gram of sodium hydroxide concentration, you operating higher temperature like a 50 degree, you have a more red color compared to the 40 degree. You're operating higher temperature. I think one of the drawback is especially sodium cyanide fast decompose. Electroplating time normally 10 to 30 seconds. The thickness 0.1 to 0.5 micrometer. Current density, the range is 1 to 10 ampere per decimeter, but normal condition around 2 ampere decimeter. CH Gold has a wide range of operation condition for the current density. You have a very good electroplating on your subject, most case. Cathode, you must using stainless steel or carbon, the cathode. I like to recommend stainless steel because it is easy to clean. I do not recommend using the brass cathode. Don't use a brass cathode. This is 4 important electroplating conditions. So temperature around 40 degree, plating time 10 to 30 seconds, for thickness 0.2 or 0.3 micrometer, current density around 2 ampere decimeter, but you have very wide range of current density. Cathode, you should unsoluble cathode, which is stainless steel or carbon.
Operating action of CH Gold. The first one is agitation.
Agitation is very important operating action. So agitation giving homogeneous electroplating solution, and then also the temperature, top temperature is bottom temperature same. During the work, the agitation is done by the action is giving the circulation of your bath. But from time to time, you just need a few seconds stirring your solution. Mechanical stirring looks good, but it's not practical. Some folks told me that, can I using the air bubbling? Air bubbling is worst one. Cannot using it because sodium cyanide decomposes by the air. So air bubbling is forbidden. Don't use the air bubbling. Some factory using the circulation of your object or shaking, but these two is very fancy and good. It's maybe a little bit expensive. Circulation of CH Gold solution by the filtration system. That's the best. And then very practical is I recommend stirring by hand with a paddle or shovel occasionally. And then that too is very practical.
And second is filtration.
Filtration. The filtration is very important to get rid of some particles, mainly sodium carbonate. Filtration method, you can get rid of sodium carbonate and then clean your bath. Please using normal cartridge. Don't using the carbon cartridge.
The cleaning of electroplating solution of CH Gold bath.
All of chemical is consumed during your electroplating, but there's only one chemical is generated. That is the sodium carbonate. Sodium cyanide, decomposed by air, they making sodium carbonate. Sodium hydroxide react with carbon dioxide, making sodium carbonate. You keep adding sodium cyanide, sodium hydroxide for good condition of your electroplating bath. So that means every day you generate a small quantity of sodium carbonate. 1 or 2 months, you must clean it. It's start to accumulate and you have lots of solid in bottom. That's not good. So you must get rid of once or 1 or 2 months generated and accumulated sodium carbonate. How to do it is very simple. If you have a weekend, no work, you turn off the heater of bath. Cooling the electroplating solution for overnight. So all of sodium carbonate solid is precipitated out. And then you transfer the top solution to the empty bath, get rid of solid on the bottom. And you have cleaning the bath, you come back, dissolve the top solution back to your electroplating. Maybe you need to fill it up, mark level, and then you check the density. You add CH gold, sodium cyanide, and check the concentration of sodium hydroxide by the titration or pH method. So you just add the general condition, normal condition, then you can start work. So it's not difficult. Filtration method, you can get rid of sodium carbonate and then clean your bath. But you must be very careful about the cartridge. Carbon cartridges ruined our system. So never ever use carbon cartridge, using the normal cartridge.
CH Gold, very famous electroplating material for accessory and fashion jewelry. It gives you various of beautiful, stable, uniform gold colors. The operation and the management of CH Gold is very simple and easy. You can use the CH Gold electroplating bath for a long period of time, up to 5 years, after you make up electroplating bath solution. I giving the makeup CH Gold electroplating solution process for you. I emphasize that it takes more than 1 day due to the aging process. CH Gold is very wide operating range. Free cyanide as sodium cyanide. It provides stable electroplating and then uniform color of your entire electroplating object, and sodium hydroxide relate to the color. The concentration of CH Gold can be measured by the precise hydrometer. The concentration of free cyanide as sodium cyanide and the concentration of sodium hydroxide can be measured each titration method. Sodium hydroxide case can be measured by the pH method. If you are first comer, I ask you, first 1 or 2 months you should the titration, but you must do the watch careful about the phenomena of CH Gold electroplating solution during the work, and then you record all the data on the management sheet, and then you think about it. You try to understand this CH Gold electroplating system based upon your data. So I giving the example to get your desired color, even though it take longer time. You adding small portion 1 hour, and then you check the color of your electroplating on your object. You add more sodium hydroxide, waiting, and do it again. So it takes a little while, but this way you understand the CH Gold electroplating system. You'll be an expert on the CH Gold electroplating system. So I'm giving example of the maintenance of a CH Gold electroplating solution.
My presentation is help you using the CH Gold. CH Gold is very good system, believe me. And don't worry about, don't hesitate using CH Gold. If you're using the CH Gold, your life is much better. Your quality is improved. Okay. This is the last session for CH Gold, but I come back for the variety of color by the Chung Wha Sa. So I will come back to you soon. Okay. See you next time. Okay. Bye bye.
So I go over the left one is the cleaning line, second one is the cleaning line, third is cleaning line. This dark green is the nickel electroplating